Peace, boxing fans. It's another video, another morning wood. Pay me no mind / bite down boxing. Get a couple of quick thoughts out here before I head out to the gig. Shout out to Chris Mannix. I peeped game. It was a revelation to me. I see why you rock with the mainstream sports, and then do this this boxing thing as you can. Yeah, the light went on for me, and I might have to shift my focus. And it's almost, I'll get to my this is what Canelo Jacobs 2 days in a wake up, so I'll get to that in closing. But something that came across, we'll see who talks about it. But going back to Deontay Wilder at that Final Four, the intermission, visit with the champion or whatever they called it, that 13.77 million people watched or went to get a beer or the next plate or whatever they did. Left their TVs on that channel. Remember when my man screamed out that Obama at the State of the Union or whatever that was, you lie? I felt like he lied that day. But I kept, who was I to say? But I felt like he lied that day. They asked him about Joshua, and he kind of looked away and was like, oh, well, Joshua, from what I understand, they're not trying to make the fight until 2020. And I was sitting there like, they're not trying. How is that so, champ? How is 2020? It seems like they're trying to make the fight with you very, it's very intentional about making this fight. But he said, yeah, they want to do something in 2020. That the other side or whatever he said. I believe it was there. It could have been the night earlier on the, maybe it was during the Spence Garcia sit down that he did. Maybe it was then. I could be wrong, and I apologize if I'm wrong there. But he said something to that effect about Joshua, and it always just sat with me like, I think that side is really trying to make this fight. Like, they're trying to make big events and capitalize on all of this on all of the fanfare about Joshua. I think they really want that fight. Last week out there, a couple days ago, it comes out that Eddie Hearn puts out there after the discussions with Ortiz that there's hints of this schedule, this long-term or short-term schedule for Deontay Wilder. And I don't want to take Eddie Hearn's word for what the PBC or what Deontay Wilder is doing. I don't want to tell you, that's not fair. But then here it is, I see on Boxing Scene yesterday or the last 2 days that Shelly Finkel actually comes out and confirms that Wilder's schedule for 19 is complete. Okay, who is it? The Ortiz rematch is possibly part of that. And then a voluntary defense against Kownacki, Adam Kownacki. Wow. That's very disheartening. That's extremely disheartening. And it really, if we're keeping it a buck, the whole, and I said this was becoming a political chant anyway. It's just something for the people to run with on YouTube. The one face, one name, one champion. This confirms to me that I don't believe Deontay Wilder really cares about becoming undisputed champion, undisputed heavyweight champion. I just don't. And I can't get on here and scream that these are all boss moves. This is a boss move. This is boss this, blah, blah, blah. You have the biggest fight in the sport right now sitting at your feet. And I've seen nothing from his team to get it done outside of the 50 million that was out there, whatever, 18, 24 months ago. But no, how can you sit here and keep saying, send me an offer, send me a contract? I mean, what bosses make proposals, right? They make you offers you can't refuse, right? That's what I always thought. But the Ortiz rematch, who really wants that? Kownacki, that's a convenient opponent. So, again, well, I don't know what we're really doing here if we're not trying to do big things. But okay, I'm sure his core will be ecstatic that this is Defiant. You know, he's stridently moving about his career in his own way. I get it. But that's underwhelming. But anyway, we have an opponent for AJ. Ruiz will be stepping in. I'm not that familiar with Ruiz, except for the fact that he just moved over recently, I believe, and had his first fight with under the PBC banner. He's fighting on 2 times in 8 weeks or something. It'll be kind of not the situation that you want to go into. Facing the unified heavyweight champion of the world at Madison Square Garden, but the PBC and the Zone and Matchroom, I guess, can work together. We'll see what happens. Ruiz, I think, he is a good volume puncher. He will shoot a shot. I expect him to shoot a shot. We'll see how he matches up with. And I said this on the end of the live stream that I'm working, trying to get it going on Friday nights or Saturday mornings. I'm not sure where it's going to be. But the one thing that we learned in this Ortiz situation, for those that continue to run with Joshua not wanting to fight Deontay Wilder, or he's afraid to fight Deontay Wilder, it seems like Joshua is really here. Like, I'm with the ish. Like, bring me everybody. Bring me Ortiz. Here's a dude with 6 to 5 weeks left for a major fight, his debut, trying to raise his flag raise his flag or plant his flag in the U.S. Everybody wanted him to fail, and 5 or 6 weeks out, he's like, bring me all of these dudes. I work with it. I figure it out. So, like I said, his handling of this versus what I'm seeing going on from Wilder right now, the truth is starting to move around a little bit for me. One other thing, shout out to Maverick Carter and LeBron James with their uninterrupted. I don't know what the hell uninterrupted is. You can follow it on Instagram, but I think it's their production company. Maybe just for sports or something or whatever, or their media company. But they actually handled the 40-day programs for Canelo Alvarez versus Daniel Jacobs. The second one, you can watch it now on either the Zone on the app or I believe on their YouTube channel. So the first one turned out pretty good. I was pretty impressed. The second one, like I said, I was working on an article, my Sound for Sound column that'll be up in support of the Canelo Alvarez and Daniel Jacobs fight. So I'm hoping to get that up later on tonight. I only got one section left to do on that. Get that up there. And then I can focus on my podcast for the week, which will be up at www.leftjaballnightboxing.com. Getting into this Canelo Jacobs matchup. Today's Canelo Jacobs 2 days in a wake up. Bernard Hopkins made a pretty good point that Canelo's style, he tried to dance around this, not to offend anybody. Hopkins, with him, his pronunciation of execution and whatnot. But Hopkins is an all-time dude. But he said that Canelo's style is multicultural. Basically, he can fight Mexicans and he can fight brothers, and he can be okay because of what he learned from the Floyd Mayweather fight. And and I think this bodes well for Canelo going into this fight, and that's why I'm all over the place with trying to settle in on a prediction. I just don't know how effective. I know he's not Rocky Fielding, and that's the thing. Canelo's technique is damn near perfect. His punching combinations are very disciplined and tight. He's highly adaptable. Great chin. Very wise boxer. He timing. He can do it all. The dude can simply do it all. I just don't know what he does with with an athletic, bigger, longer middleweight in front of him, you know, that poses a much different style than Triple G. But like B Hop said though, he can do a lot of he can fight this fight in a number of different ways for whatever it calls for, whatever Daniel Jacobs is doing. Canelo can figure something out and either offset it, neutralize it, or you know, step back, reset, and try to impose himself in a different way. So I just thought that was a very accurate commentary from B Hop. And like I said, I got to get my comments into the round by round boxing staff prediction piece by tomorrow night. So I'm still, like I said, if you read this sound for sound column, you know, I may be leaning towards Jacobs. And I see some ways where Jacobs should win it. I just don't know if Jacobs can stop Canelo. So anyway, man, that's what I had today for Canelo Jacobs, 2 days in a wake up. Let me get on out of here. Remember, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Have a great day.